when you look at you carrying out the instructions, you are simply slow to act. You're always going to do it. You are a professional procrastinator. And you don't like to be told so. Well, ain't nothing wrong with being a good planner, but at some point you have to carry out the plan. God, I'm talking to somebody, and you prayed and you asked God to speak to you.
Thank you, Jesus. Hey, and let God. You gotta and let God. Don't worry about it. And let God. Cast your burden and let God. Let God do it. Let God do it. Let God do it. Let God do it. Don't worry about it. You gotta let him do it. Don't cry about it. You gotta let him do it. While you're staying up all night. While you're worried about it, you can't work it out. Let God do it. Let God do it.
Hebrews 6 and verse number 11, and we'll read verse number 12. Notice what the Hebrew writer says in the 6th chapter of the book of Hebrews. He said, and we desire that each one of you show the same diligence to the full assurance of hope until the end. Now notice, if we as believers or Christians are truly connected, if we are truly family, if we're truly God's people, then we are going to have some similarities. There are going to be some things that people can look at about each one of us and say that, hey, y'all the same when it comes to such and such. And how many know that is important? It is important in a family, again, as the people of God, that folks be able to look at us and see, if you will, a kindred spirit, seeing that we are the same when it comes to certain things. Understand this morning that there are different levels of things. Nevertheless, there are some things as believers that we all need to possess. One thing here the Hebrew writer reveals in the 11th verse is that we all need to be diligent. We all need to operate with diligence. And notice that we need to do so, according to the Hebrew writer, until the end. Notice this, don't let me lose it. And we desire that each one of you show the same diligence to the full assurance of hope until the end. So there's no giving up. That you do not become sluggish, but imitate those who through faith and patience inherit the promises. And we desire that each one of you show the same diligence to the full assurance of hope until the end, that you do not become sluggish, but imitate those who through faith and patience inherit the promises. He's admonishing the believers that in their walk of faith, which also requires endurance, he is admonishing them not to become sluggish. You have to fight or resist becoming sluggish. Because the implication of the scripture is that if I don't fight or resist being sluggish, I will not inherit the promises of God. I will miss the very thing for which God intended for me to experience. Understand this morning that the promises of God can be seen from, listen, an individual standpoint. His promises can be seen from a corporate standpoint. which has to do with the local church. But his promises can also be seen from a universal standpoint, which are promises God made to all mankind. But if I become sluggish, I will not only miss individual promises that will never come to pass, but as a church family, if we become sluggish, we'll miss promises that God desired to do for each and every one of us in this particular house. Are you following me? And so if I don't want to miss inheriting the promises of God, listen to me, then I can't become sluggish. I have to resist. I have to fight becoming sluggish. And so based upon all that I've said thus far, look at a neighbor, a family member, and tell him or her the subject this morning: don't become sluggish. Look at one more family member and tell him or her, if you can, tell them, don't become sluggish. Look at him and tell him, it is important, essential that you fight or resist becoming sluggish. And if I be honest this morning, which I love to do, when it comes to a lot of us, we have got to stop being sluggish. Because it's not a matter of becoming, some are already there. And so we are going to deal with it this morning, because I pray that each and every one of you is as I am this morning, in that I don't want to miss anything that God has for me. I'm going to say it again. I don't want to miss anything that God has for me. Everything that God has ordained for me to do, I want to do it. Everything he has ordained for me to have, I want to have it. Everything he's ordained for me to accomplish, I want to accomplish it. Am I right about that? Am I speaking to you already? Do you want everything God has promised? And it's not just talk, it's not just lip service, but you intend to walk out every dream that God has embedded in your spirit? Are you like your pastor? Do you have my spirit this morning, in that you don't just dream to be dreaming, but you know God gives a dream in order to make it a reality? Come on, somebody. He grants you a vision, not just to make you happy, but a vision that you may be able to walk out and experience here on the earth. Come on, somebody, because there are too many saints that they got their mind so far in the heaven that they're missing what God intended to do here in the earth. Come on, I don't want to be such a believer. I don't want to be one always preaching and talking about the by and by. I want to talk about some now and now. I want to talk about some here and now. Am I right about that? I want to see God do great things right here. Come on, somebody. You ain't got to wait to heaven to get a mansion. God will give you something that is wonderful right down here on the earth. Am I right? Oh, God, I can't get some of you to respond. I hope that you are not giving up so soon on the promises of God. Again, we have to fight becoming sluggish. We have to resist becoming sluggish. I want to deal with three things that it means when a person is sluggish. Number one, when a person is sluggish, it suggests that he or she is lacking energy or lacking readiness. Again, when a person has become sluggish, it suggests about him or her that they are lacking energy or they are lacking readiness. Now, you know how we preach in this house. We love to preach, get ready, get ready. We love it. We love it. It's something that needs to be preached quite often. Get ready, get ready, get ready. But up in this house, we also preach a thing called stay ready, stay ready, stay. I don't want to spend a lifetime getting ready for something that may or may not happen. I want to learn in my walk with God, not just to get ready, but I want to learn how to stay ready. Because when you learn how to stay ready, God will bless you at any moment. He'll bless you at any time. He'll bless you any day of the week. He'll bless you regardless of what you're going through. But you've got to learn not only to get ready, but you've got to learn to stay ready. And some of us, you should have the ability to stay ready based upon what God has already brought you through. Based upon what he has already done in your life, you should be to learn the lesson by now that I have to stay ready no matter what it looks like. I got to stay ready no matter what it feels like. And I got to stay stay ready no matter what it sounds like, because we serve a God that is more than able, a blessing in the midst of a storm. Don't ever allow the storm to cause you not to stay ready. I have to be ready for God to move at any moment. I have to be so ready that when one person walk off, I have to expect that somebody better is about to show up. You got to stay ready, and you can't always depend on the preacher to preach you into a position whereby you're ready or you're staying ready, but you got to preach to yourself. Tell somebody, you got to remind yourself to stay ready in difficult moments. Come on, am I preaching to anybody this morning? Because let us be honest, when we look back at our lives, it was most often during difficult times, come on somebody, that God blessed us real good. Come on somebody, your testimony was that when God blessed you, you were down to a little bit, but he came through anyhow. He blessed some of you after you got turned down. He blessed you despite folk saying it wasn't going to happen. And so God just taught you how to stay ready. That's the reason you come up in here every Sunday giving God the praise despite fire trial, because you've learned how to stay ready. You're like the woman with the issue of blood. You know that certain things are going to happen. You're like the woman with the alabaster box. You don't have to invite me to the service, but because I stay ready, I keep a praise down on the on the inside of me. Come on, because I serve the one that knows how to show up and show out at any moment. High five a family member and shout, show it right. High five a family member and shout, show it right. Oh, somebody ought to be saying, that man preaching right to me already. Be seated. You cannot afford to be lacking in energy or readiness. Can I teach it right? The reason some of us are without, or the reason certain things have not manifested, is not because God doesn't want to do it. It's not because the prophecy was not real. But the reason you don't have certain things is because you lack energy to get up and go get it. You lack energy to pursue it. Come on, too many folks sitting back waiting on something. Watch this, to always fall in their lap. And there are blessings that God will seemingly call just to fall into your lap. But there are other blessings. You got to go get it. I said you got to go get it. You got to go get it despite who's standing in the way. You got to go. You got to go. You got to go. Pastor, they said I can't have it, but I got to. But see, when you are lacking energy, listen to me, you know what you need to do, but you don't have the energy to do it. You lack the readiness. Come on. Even as it is in the natural. Don't get upset with me. Some of our houses are dirty this morning. Not because we don't know how to clean. Not that we don't know where things go. Oh, come on. Have you ever seen something out of place? You knew where it needed to go, but you lacked the energy to get up, pick it up, and put it in its right place. And see, in the church, there are saints who are always talking a good talk, but they lack the readiness. They are sluggish when you look at why certain things have not manifested. Woo! Some of you were going back to school 7 years ago. Some of you were going to better yourselves in certain areas months ago. Some of you, this was your year, 2020, the year of your vision coming to pass. Come on. But we find ourselves sometimes lacking energy to do what needs to be done. Come on. Am I real about it? Number two, when it comes to being sluggish, it says that a person is slow to act or slow to respond. And some of us, we're getting the right directions. We're getting the right instructions. Ain't nothing like receiving the right word. Ain't nothing like receiving a rhema word, a word that was tailor-made just for you. But many people, because they have become sluggish, they have received, listen, the right instructions, but they are slow to act or to respond. There's some of you right now, God has been laying out to you a perfect plan that will allow you to be everything that he's ordained for you to be. He's laid out a perfect plan that will allow your family to do everything that he has ordained. Listen, for that house. Come on, pal. For that apartment. Come on, for what you have to do. But when you look at you carrying out the instructions, you are simply slow to act. You're always going to do it. You are a professional procrastinator. And you don't like to be told so. Well, ain't nothing wrong with being a good planner, but at some point you have to carry out the plan. God, I'm talking to somebody, and you prayed and you asked God to speak to you. Sometimes you pray to God and you say things like, Lord, why has it not manifested? Why am I still here when I should be there? And he may not answer you in that moment. But if your prayer was one of sincerity, he's going to speak. I said, he's going to speak. And see, for somebody, he's speaking right now. And he's letting you know you are slow to respond. See, I found out when God tells you to do something, you got to get up right then and do it. I said, you got to get up right then and do it. I have changed plans to do what God wanted me to do. Come on, because I wanted to be quick to respond. I remember applying for something. Some of y'all heard me tell the story. And I told my wife we was in a certain store. And I said, God just told me that he's turning things around. I said, I'm finna go ahead and make a move. I said, let's go. We're going up here. She said, I ain't going. She said, I'm not about to be embarrassed in this store. I said, what you mean? She said, no. She said, ain't no way that's about to happen. Not today. I said, but I know God. Woo! And I got to move without you. Good God. When you really hear God, you can move while other folks standing there debating. See, some of you, you're great debaters. You're always debating instruction. You always want to talk about instruction, but you can't talk about it. You got to learn to be about it. Come on, stop talking about it. So I went up there, approached the desk with confidence. Whoa! See, I'm teaching already because some of you done went, but I know it ain't going to happen. I'm just going to do. Now, I stepped up there like, hey! Did all the information, filled everything out while looking over my shoulder, her standing way far off, like she don't want nothing to do with this. But I never get it. The folk took about 5 or 10 minutes. They went and ran everything, this, that, man. They came back. They said, sir, you have been approved. And I started to act like I knew it was going to happen. I said, thank you. I said, what's the amount? This is what get down to business. What is the amount? Then I had to look at a person who was standing afar off and say to them, approved. But then she started trying to draw near. See, I'm preaching right. There's some blessing you don't get standing afar off. Some of you, the only reason you ain't moved is because you say dumb stuff. Like I ain't going until I get all my ducks in a row. You may not have now duck. You may not have one duck. Come on. I'm really preaching to some folks. There are some of us, we were quick to respond. And from a natural standpoint, nothing was in order. As far as what man wanted to see. Credit score, not where we desired it to be. But here we are acting. Peter, go down to the lake. You need to pay your taxes. You ain't got time to work. You ain't got time to put in all that overtime. I don't want you out here begging. Go down to the lake. Take up the first fish. Out of his mouth gonna be a piece of money. Pay your taxes. In other words, cancel your debt supernaturally. See, we learn to be quick to act. God will counsel things. But some of us are slow to respond. You go do that. Lord, I ain't never seen nobody do that. Ain't nobody in my family ever got blessed like that. What do that matter? But when you sluggish, come on, you are slow to act. Want to meet with pastor to talk about something I already preached about. What's wrong with you? Pastor, I heard you say such and such, but maybe you don't know my story. Don't need to know it. Not in totality. We have to learn to be people who are quick to respond. Now listen, don't take this and then get quick to get in the flesh. Quick to act or respond to what it is that God says for us to do. That's the key, okay? Because you can also be quick to make a mess. Come on. And some of you, I know I'm quick to move. Yeah, but you move in self. You move at the wrong time. Am I right? Finally, when a person becomes sluggish, and this is a theological meaning, it says about that person that he or she has become dull of hearing. And you have to be careful here, because it's good to come to church. It's good to listen to the word of God. But when you become sluggish, it says about you that you can set up under the word, but the word is not going to change you. Come on. You come to church all the time, but you are dull of hearing, which says that the word is falling upon a stony heart, a person who is stiff-necked, unwilling to change. But see, every time you hear an anointed word, it should always produce change, or it should produce better. Come on, it doesn't matter your situation. If you hear an anointed word, it should produce better, or it should produce change. But when the word falls upon a dull ear, we hear it, watch this, and we leave the church, watch, the same way we came. Come on, can I break it down? Some of us come to church, we've been acting like fools. We hear the word, it falls on deaf ears or a dull heart, and we leave the church still acting foolish, still doing things that suggest, listen, some of you not gonna like it, but you need to hear, that suggest that we either dumb or we stupid. Because we continue making the same mistakes. I ain't receiving it. Sitting there calling me dumb and stupid. See, if you mad right now, you just revealed that you were dumb and stupid. Because nobody called your name. Come on. When you look at young people being raised by bona fide parents who are trying to instill in them the way to go. Come on. But you know, sometimes you raising a child that just wants to be stupid. Come on. Look, baby girl, you can't go forward. It's a wall, right? Don't do that. Don't, and run dead into that wall. And come back with a knot on the head. Then to my mama, what should I do? It's simple. Listen. Come on. There are some knots we don't have to get on our head. Come on. There are some things that don't have to bite us. There are some traps that don't have to catch us. There are some ditches we don't have to land in. But we have to be wise enough to listen and not become dull of hearing. How the mama always talking about the same thing? But it's what you need to hear. Am I right? And so no, when you become sluggish, you are not going to inherit the promises of God. You're not going to do it. But God will often deal with us, and thank God that he does, even when he knows we have become sluggish. Do you love that about God? That he'll deal with us, that he'll talk to us. Notice in the book of Proverbs, the 6th chapter, he's not going to make it hard. Am I right? Now watch this, because I said it, because now God is going to use something simple to teach something profound. In Proverbs, the 6th chapter and verse 6, he said, go to the ant, you sluggard. Consider her ways and be what? Wise. Go to the ant, you what? Sluggard. I'm going to teach you by having you to look at a little small creature. I'm going to teach you, or I'm going to learn you through something that's way smaller than you. Because you think you too big anyhow. You got the big head, so I'm going to use something small to teach you a lesson. You go to the ant. You go look at the ant, you sluggard. And most of the time when we think about the text, we think we got to go outside. But see, the ant is so diligent that you don't have to go outside all the way. You can just go to a certain room in your house and see how diligent and persistent the ant is. Am I right? It has amazed me at times when I know ants have gotten in and I retrace their path. Come on. You may think they're in one corner and you think the problem is in this little corner, but you got to follow them ants all the way back to another room. Not just on the ground, but then you got to follow them all the way up the wall and recognize that they're coming from the top. Oh, come on. I'm preaching to somebody. They're so diligent that an ant going to find a way in. I don't care what neighborhood you been past. I stay in the night. I don't care. This is in every neighborhood. Come on. You drop a piece of candy on your floor. Leave it there. Leave it there for a moment. The ant is coming. And they're going to be diligent to seize upon an opportunity. So you who don't like seizing upon opportunities, you go to the ant, you slug.
Thank you for watching A Word for Deliverance with Pastor Leonard Cochran of A Place of Refuge, Noonan. A Place of Refuge is located at 10 Fisher Alley in the city of Noonan, Georgia. If you would like to visit us, our worship times are every Sunday at 10:15 a.m. and Wednesdays at 7:15 p.m. To order today's message on CD, please call the church office at 770-252-3855 and reference the order number on the screen.